Hey guys, Tomboy61, and today we're in the Nelson. About 3 weeks back, I put out a poll saying I was looking for a new Tier 6 premium to pick up, and the overwhelming majority of you voted for the Nelson. So I figured I kind of owed you guys a game in it. So here we go. Now, before we get into the game, I'm going to go ahead and put up comment of the day. Comment of the day goes out to someone who leaves a comment on one of our previous videos. Today's comment of the day goes out to Nikki. He says, I want to know why it incapacitation medals, but no damage when I use dive bombers. I mostly see this on destroyers. And Nick, it turns out to be a function of HE. I had a similar quandary when my destroyer's engine got knocked when no shells clearly hit. I'll go and put up a video. And yeah, it turns out HE shells and HE bombs do have splash damage. This splash damage can go ahead and knock out components, modules on ships, and that is what you're doing there. You're knocking out either the engine or a gun or the rudder. You're basically taking some piece of the ship out of commission. You have to remember that that modules have their own unique hit points pool that is independent of the ship, and in that case, the splash damage from the bomb is taking out the hit points of that module. Anyways, we spawned over on what is going to be the left flank of our team. We were going to try to push all the way to C and then kind of do a flanking route up, but we did get spotted. We are out in a battleship. So because of the sheer amount of fire that we are receiving, we kind of have to turn in. We had a decent opening salvo over on that Bayern. Switched to HE just because I'll be honest, I was not anticipating that sort of damage on the Bayern. The Nelson shells are kind of funky. They are that short fuse AP, which means when you fire against battleships, it really is kind of a crapshoot on whether the short fused AP is going to get deep enough into the armor to cause any sort of damage. In this case, we got decent damage, but I had switched over to HE. Abruzzi is peeking out here, and if there's one thing short AP is good for, though, it is taking hits on cruisers. We go ahead and fire at him as he's retreating past this island. Only one shell hits, but it does do a decent amount of damage. Bayern is out there, and we are already down to half health. We do have about 4 ships shooting at us, but that is kind of to be expected. We're Nelson, and we are doing our job. We are a battleship taking damage. The other fun, Nelson overall, I think she's a very fun ship to play, and she's become rapidly one of my favorites just to kind of credit grind in, and that's because of her just fun playstyle. All 3 guns on the front means as long as you're kind of keeping your nose pointed at the action, you can rapidly transition from one side of combat to the other, from port to starboard, starboard to port. You can easily cover ships that pop up and do good damage. The downside of the Nelson is the front armor. Her nose isn't that thick, which means she can easily be punched through, but she has immaculate side armor. So if you can trick people into shooting your sides, you can go ahead and just tank damage, and it is just a fun ship. Anyway, Abruzzi decides it is now his moment. It is time to try to charge the Nelson with torpedoes. 3 shells hit there, 2 of them do damage. He takes 4k, almost half his health, and we are just waiting on our other 2 guns to come in. He does the turn as to signal that he's laying down torpedoes, and we just need 1 shell to hit his citadel, and he is out of there. King George is now going to be our priority just because he looks a little less angled than the New Mexico, or actually I think, oh no, we do end up starting to go after the New Mexico and starting to try to hide behind this island from the King George, just because as far as caliber goes, I don't feel like we can really stand up to that King George. He knows where to shoot us. He knows to shoot us in the nose, and it means we're going to get hit hard from him. We already used one of our heals. The other massive and great thing about the Nelson is her heals. She can print pretty much half the ship back. She can recover about half health, which does wonders for doing things like going for dreadnought medals, which are currently you're trying to do once a week to get those bonus points to get done with the campaign. So that's one of the other reasons I've been using the Nelson a lot, because if you can survive, if you can go ahead and push in and do a more brawling style and you can survive the match, you're most likely going to end the match with a Dreadnought medal. Anyways, C was captured by our team, and we just kind of need to do the job of a battleship, tank damage, and try to sort of lead the charge here. We do know that they only have one destroyer left and that he's been spotted over on the other side of the map, so fairly confident that we can be in here without any sort of recourse. New Mexico starts to go broadside for us, so we're going to go ahead, fire our rounds at him, and as we can see, we're decently angled enough there as to not take the damage to end us, and New Mexico is going to be sort of our priority. We're up to 83,000 damage, really nice there. And yeah, we're just going to try to hold B, take out ships that shoot at us, and try to capture B for the points and just to help the team overall. And that's one of the key things I want to talk about, is just the importance of making sure you are playing as a team member when you're in a battleship. It is very easy to try to sit in the backfield and take snipes and, you know, just try and hit certain shots, but that doesn't really help your team. You have to remember, battleships have the biggest hit points pool. They are hit magnets, and you have the most armor. So you are able to take hits that other teammates just wouldn't be able to. And when you lead the charge like this, and you play smart, you're able to absorb hits that your cruisers would not be able to. And you have to remember, cruisers in general tend to have higher DPMs than battleships. So if you can keep them alive and keep the fire off of them, they are more effective and able to do their job. And you know, that's the important thing, is knowing your role and performing it. Now, as we can see, we are in some rough straits. We have no more heals. We are spotted by the aircraft carrier, or we are intermittently spotted, and that Nuremberg knows where we are and has our number because, well, we only have 4,000 health. So he can go ahead and kind of lob shots, blind fire with his one nose gun, and probably take us out. If we look on the map, we don't really want to move into that central lane because that King George probably has it fairly well locked down. So what we need to do is reverse. I know sometimes battleships, it's okay to go in reverse. Not all the time, but I think in this case it is. We do have a friendly cruiser kind of in the area, and if we can get within range of our will to rebuild, we are going to be able to extend our life in this game. Nuremberg says we could maybe hit him, so we go ahead and take the shot and kind of whiff those shots. But you know, the bigger thing is trying to survive and trying to get into range of our cruiser. You know, see, we're kind of reversing and keeping the rudder hard on, just trying to keep ourselves in this cap. Thankfully, that Nuremberg ends up getting taken out by a friendly player, and he's no longer our biggest threat. And we can see Ryuju has now just been spotted, and he has been haranguing us all game. And thankfully, our friendly cruiser goes ahead, sails by us. I don't think he realizes the solid he's doing for us, but he definitely helps out. I do wish that Wargaming would kind of put in some way to visibly identify what skills people are running, or at least let you be able to see if someone is running their hydro, or if they are running will to rebuild, the things that you can kind of help and run up to and buff. It would be very nice to see, because yeah, right now he definitely just saved us. Ryuju goes down, and now it is a King George and a destroyer that is left on the enemy team, and that destroyer is nowhere near us. So it's all about taking down that King George. Now, of course, Ryuju is going to be holding a grudge on us, and he's gonna go for us, because, you know, why not? We're a battleship. We are on very low health, and I think the smarter play for him would have just to be kind of stay in the area and keep us spotted. But instead, he's gonna go ahead, make a torp run on our cruiser friend, and then go ahead and try and make a torp run on us. He probably, if he decided to concentrate all those torpedoes on us, could have easily taken us down, but thankfully I guess he wanted revenge on the cruiser as well. We've now kind of switched over to HE just because with the King George angling in, you do just kind of have to go back and forth on what you want to fire out of the Nelson. Here comes the incoming Torp. Hopefully it doesn't flood us. It takes about half our health, and we are now what is most likely a one hit for the King George, and we need to start playing this a little bit more strategically. But as we saw there, HE is still very effective. You still have British HE, which has a high chance of setting fire, does really good damage. We got 8, almost 9k from that salvo, which is very respectable. We set fire, caused him to burn his damage con, which means if our team can set another fire on the King George, it will be a permafire, and it looks like our teammates have done just that. So with that, we need to start kind of positioning ourselves and trying to get our way to knocking out this King George, as he is now the only enemy left on the team. Keeping to use this island as cover. King George is still lit for us, so there's no reason for us to venture out, because I do feel like the second we venture out, we are going to be in a world of hurt that we may not be able to stand up to with the King George. As we can see, our carrier is now going ahead and making his drops on the King George. Unfortunately, King George is now moving so that the other end of the island is going to be the quicker intercept, but at this point, we've kind of committed to reversing just because the majority of our team is over on the right side of the map. So right now they most likely have the better firing access angles to him. So he may try to come towards this right kind of center line, and that's where we kind of want to catch him out, because at this point he might not have known where we were. He does launch his spotter plane to get that increased accuracy, but we see him there. We go ahead, launch our HE salvo, especially since he's nose in. That was the better call for us, because if we fired AP nose on, we probably would not have done a lot of damage. And at this point, we are just hoping that he goes ahead and hits us right where that armor belt is. And as we can see right there, he hits where our armor is thickest. That's the beautiful thing on the Nelson. Nose is where we get punched hard. The side, if you're angled, is fairly substantial. So overall, guys, Nelson, I'm loving her. We set the fire on the King George. He doesn't put it out, so that is essentially a death sentence for him. And we will enjoy the kill, but the carrier ends up getting it. Anyways, guys, that's the Nelson. Loving it a lot. Thank you so much, guys, for recommending it. I really enjoy this ship, and we did fairly well. We got the Dreadnought, we got the high caliber, and that is something we always like. Hope you guys liked this video. If you did, go ahead and like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. See ya.